Number 2 on the Roper Report, Shuhei Yoshida was disappointed at the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. This is Rebecca Valentine at IGN.com. Super chat. Do you think Nintendo played it too safe with the Nintendo Switch 2? Let us know, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames to be part of this story. For me. I like that though. It's like wrong, but it's like good.
Yeah.
Former Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios president Shuhei Yoshida was recently asked for his thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2's reveal, and his response was ... Well, not entirely exuberant. This comes from Easy Allies, which recently interviewed Shuhei Yoshida about, among other things, his reaction to the Switch 2 reveal. Here's his response in full when asked about it. Quote, "To me, it was a bit of a mixed message from Nintendo. In a sense, I think Nintendo is losing their identity, in my opinion. For me, they are always about creating some new experience, like designing hardware and games together to create something that is an amazing new experience. But Switch 2, as we all anticipated, is a better Switch, right? It's the larger screen, the more powerful processor, higher resolution, 4K, 120 frames per second. They even have a hardware person starting their stream, like other platforms do, right? And because it's a better Switch, the core premise of the whole Switch 2 is, quote, we made things better. And that's something other companies have been doing all the time, end quote. Yoshida went on to talk about how if you only game on Nintendo hardware, the Switch 2 is great because it lets you play games like Elden Ring that haven't been available before. But for those who game on other platforms, it's a bit less exciting. Quote, publishers must have known that show last week would be one of the most watched shows this year. Millions and millions of people watched. It's amazing to announce and launch your new game, if you have a chance, but most of the games were ports from past generations. I don't know if this is Nintendo's direction or third party's choice, but one game I reacted strongly to was Enter the Gungeon 2. That looks amazing. They did a great job announcing that there, end quote. Yoshida also praised Drag and Drive for being quote-unquote very Nintendo. Then went on to talk about the system's pricing and differences in pricing between Japan and the rest of the world. He concluded as follows, quote, anyway, with some of the things Nintendo is doing with the camera or mouse controls, creating new experiences, that's great. But other than that, I was personally a bit disappointed because they didn't disappoint everyone. I was personally disappointed. Oh, I see how he's saying. I was personally a bit disappointed because they didn't disappoint everyone because everyone wanted a better Switch, end quote. As the discussion went on, Yoshida acknowledged that Nintendo Switch 2 was a good business decision with technical improvements likely made by very intelligent, talented designers.
I love that Shu is like doing the like podcast
He's
tour.
Everywhere.
Yeah, like he's
reacting with min-max to Nintendo Switch 2.
Like he's free from the shackles and now he's like he can do whatever he wants and like he's hanging out with everybody. I think this is a very fascinating reaction to the Switch 2 from somebody who is very high up at PlayStation. And also I think I agree with pretty much everything he's saying. And I agree with him mainly because I don't think he's saying this with a tone of like, how dare they, right?
Yeah,
he's not saying this with a tone.
Doesn't have a mean bone in his body.
Yeah, like he's not saying this with a tone of like, oh man, the Switch 2 sucks or anything like that, right? Like he's saying this from a tone of like, no, I understand exactly why they're doing it the way they're doing it, but the Nintendo that I love the most is the Nintendo that is weird and experimental and like the drag and drive Nintendo interests me more than the Elden Ring is playable on the Switch 2 Nintendo. You know what I mean? I tend to agree with that, even though like we're the same people that sit here and complain about the weird Nintendo decisions and all that stuff, right? But like Nintendo wouldn't be Nintendo without the weird Nintendo decisions. And when I'm saying weird Nintendo decisions, I'm not talking about like $80 games, even though that kind of factors into it a little bit. But like more so the weird Nintendo decisions of like, oh, you're giving me these fucking Joy-Cons and you have a game where I have to figure out how many pieces of ice are in my Joy-Con. That's fucking odd. But also it lends to a personality and to a creativity that then leads to things like Labo, which I've seen people like use in cool, interesting ways. It leads to things like Ring Fit Adventure, which ends up being a major success, right? Like that is the Nintendo that I think is super cool because that's the Nintendo that, zigs where the industry zags. And I think that's more exciting, but we all understand why Nintendo is going with the Switch 2 and having it be a bigger screen, more powerful. Elden Ring works. Like everybody understands why that's the route.
For me, Shuhei's an unemployed, washed-up game person. You know what I mean? Why we listen? I'm kidding. I don't agree. I understand what Shu is saying, But I think that Nintendo in the past has gone far too wide with the zig when you should have zagged thing, right? Where it is the Virtual Boy, where it is, okay, the Wii U, which was a confusing message, as you know, from the Wii or whatever. Of course, the Wii was industry defining, completely different, yada, yada, yada. But like for where they're at here with Switch 1 into Switch 2, I think Shu might actually be underselling how revolutionary or how Nintendo it is. That's a better way to put it.
Sure.
Because I do think the mouse controls are a bizarre, weird, okay, they're doing that. And will it be supported? What will it do? Will it lead to different things? Again, we're at the moment one. Oh, I did. That was a really good one. Moment one of Switch 2's announcement. So, like, let's have this conversation again in 3 years when we see what their next Labo has been, what games have used mouse controls, what they are doing with all the goofy little tech they talk about that I don't care anything about. It's Nintendo is still making the weird Nintendo decisions, I think, in the Switch 2, but also just not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They don't need to restart and go from, all right, cool, Switch 1 was a success. We need to do everything all over again. We can still be that machine. We can still have third-party stuff in there for the people who want that or just want, as we all know, their real games on the go. But Nintendo's bread and butter is being Nintendo first party. And so they're still going to do that, and I do expect those games to use these things and make the WNDs and lead to the next Labo, which you've seen people do cool stuff with, sure, but like we didn't see Labo sell. We didn't see Labo become this runaway success thing. Like you still got your Amiibo reader in there, so that opens up the door to some weird ass shit they want to do with that. Fine, whatever. Like there's those things that are still there, but I think it's too early to be like, oh, this wasn't weird enough or Nintendo enough. I think they're still very Nintendo, and their games speak to that.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. I still think that like the wider zags that they make, right, the Virtual Boys of the world, or like the things where it's like the Wii U's of the world, still end up leading to what end up becoming brilliant ideas, right? Like without the Wii U, I don't think we would have gotten the Switch the way we've gotten the Switch, right? So like, I think you need to take those wide swings, or else like you end up becoming just another one in the as far as like the PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo conversation, right? Or PlayStation, Xbox conversation of, all right, here's your traditional thing. Like I totally get that the mouse is something that's like weird and different, right? But I'm also looking at that as just another functional way to play a first-person shooter. Yeah. I'm on the wait and see to see like, all right, are we gonna have more drag and drives? I like the idea of drag and drive. Are we gonna get a version of that is even pushing that further as far as what you can do with a mouse? Like, I want the Mario Paint. I want the fully committed, no, we believe in this from a functionality standpoint kind of thing. But for me, like the mouse is just another feature that's available. Same with like the camera and stuff, where I'm like, it feels like you're just inventing accessories to add with this thing. I'm not seeing the revolutionary side of this or like the core side of this to the product. But yeah, I think right now they're in the place of trying to have their cake and eat it too. Of here are these weird things that we're doing that are a bit Nintendo, but also at the end of the day, like the Switch is bigger with a better processor. Like here, have fun, play Elden Ring, play Cyberpunk 2077, and have it run well enough.
Shu just wants to see them make the Nintendo Switch 2 into the Vita. All right. Bubble interface, a touchback pad. Get out of here, Shu. All right. That's on you, Shu.
The things that Nintendo
that
would
Vita's
do.
On you, Shu.
Nintendo would rock a back touchpad. Are you kidding me?
I don't want that shit.
Oh man. They'd make an 11 out of 10 Mario using a back touchpad.
This episode's brought to you by Imperial. We've told you all how important it is to developers to wishlist games you're interested in on Steam. So if this game sounds cool to you, make sure that you wishlist it. In Imperial, you play as a mercenary sent to a distant planet to discover the mysteries of an ancient civilization. Powers unknown lie within the monolith. But those are no mere ruins, as an expedition has already ventured inside with only a few survivors. Why was it built? What powers reside within? Who is at the center of the monolith? All these secrets and more will be uncovered if you are brave enough to take on Imperial. Imperial features a unique blend of RPG systems and skill-based combat across 3 weapon archetypes: the acrobatic glaive, the defensive but devastating mace and shield, and the powerfully ranged cannon. With a deep ability system and extensive customization, every battle is an opportunity to refine and optimize your combat style. Form relationships with each of the few surviving expedition members who all have their own personal quest lines. Whether you choose to help or not can have drastic consequences for them. The monolith is guarded by powerful automatons, each with distinct attack patterns and weaknesses that demand precise execution and strategy to be victorious. Create your mercenary, enter the monolith, learn powerful abilities, defeat the automatons, and uncover the secrets that lie within Imperial. Imperial is available May 8th on PC, Xbox S and X, and PS5, but you can wishlist now. Do it! Wishlist Imperial. This episode is brought to you by Factor. Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Greg Miller has been loving how simple it is to enjoy his Factor meals as he's rushing between shows each day. I just saw Blessy eating some too. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. Multiple people here at Kinda Funny have been loving their experience with Factor, and guess what? You can too. Get started at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off and use code kindafunny50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code kindafunny50 off at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. If you don't love your shades, exchange them for a new pair or simply return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team are always there to have your back with personal and fast support. Y'all know I've been outside a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, go to shadyrays.com, use code FUNNY to get 35% off polarized sunglasses.
Number 3 on the Roper Report. Assassin's Creed Shadows is 2025's second best-selling game in the United States of America. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Where did this come from? Is it just Matt?
Oh, sorry. No, this, I believe, is VGC. Let me double check.
We're going to say it's VGC. We're going to say it's Jordan Midler. Sorry, Chris Scullion. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the second best-selling game of the year in the U.S. so far. That's according to data from Circana. The game trails only Monster Hunter Wilds in the overall year-to-date sales charts in the U.S.
You nailed it, Jordan Midler.
Nailed it. He's big. Circana's Matt Piscatella noted that Assassin's Creed Shadows has been the best-selling game in the U.S. for each of its first 3 weeks on the market. Matt's Blue Sky reads like this. Here's a fun one. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been the best-selling video game in the U.S. for each of its 3 weeks in market, according to Circana's retail tracking service, Dollar Sales, latest data through April 5th. Currently ranks number 2 year-to-date, only behind Monster Hunter Wilds. While the game suffered a protracted development, which included several delays, strong reviews and positive player sentiment has seemingly turned the game into a modest hit for Ubisoft. The game was a hit in the UK too, shifting more physical copies in 1 week than fellow Ubisoft game Star Wars Outlaws managed in 3 months. Assassin's Creed Shadows is also the biggest physical launch of the year, ahead of Monster Hunter Wilds. According to data provided to VGC, Shadows was the series' second biggest launch ever.
Wow. Ubisoft is saved. We did it, everybody. You can keep your company.
Chad, I want to know, are you playing Assassin's Creed Shadows? Did you like Assassin's Creed Shadows?
How does it feel for you for like your top video game franchises being on top? You know, Monster Hunter and Assassin's Creed, number 1 and 2.
I want to put Assassin's Creed that high on my list of things.
I mean, the franchise. You love Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, here and there, right? I loved Odyssey.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I loved Assassin's Creed 2. And I love Brotherhood. So it's like, I have an affinity for Assassin's Creed, and I like open world games like that. But this one didn't work for me, right? Like I tapped out on this one. I was like, this is just the churn. This is what people, I think, say they don't like about Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, I feel it in this game, and I walked away from it. So I'm happy. I'm I'm happy people are connected with it. Obviously, I want people to enjoy the games they play, and I want success for developers and et cetera, and so on and so forth like that. Monster Hunter Wilds is a game I adore, a franchise I would say I adore. The fact that that's on top for the whole year, that's awesome. And even last night I was playing, and it was like, I was running like random stuff, just trying to clear out my quest log, doing stuff. And the fact that I was jumping in and then like immediately getting people joining me, I'm like, this is awesome. That I'm playing in a Monster Hunter weeks after launch, and I not like Monster Hunter's not popular, but I'm weeks after launch and like I'm not hurting for people. People are on playing with me. That's awesome.
This might be an impossible question to ask, just because it's gonna ask you to do a lot of work to think ahead.
love that.
But outside of Call of Duty sports games and GTA 6, do you think there's anything that's throughout the rest of the year that's gonna overtake Monster Hunter in terms of numbers? Is there anything that immediately pops in mind for you? This might be a question in chat as well.
I mean, it's hard to. And you said no Call of Duty, no GTA.
Yeah,
no sports games
for sales numbers. I guess maybe a Nintendo. Well, no,
I would
it's tough
say
because
no,
it's launch
man.
with Switch too, so I don't know what that's going to look
People
like.
are saying Night Rain. I don't believe that. I'm not shit-talking Night Rain. I just think Monster Hunter is a more approachable. I say this loosely. I think Monster Hunter is a more approachable game than Night Rain. I say that, but Joey got super into it. Borderlands, no.
Ooh, yeah, Borderlands is an interesting one.
People are calling out, Mario Kart and Pokemon, but are we disqualifying Nintendo's, or are we saying that?
We can bring in Nintendo, because that's a weird one.
No
Switch
way. They're not
2,
going to get enough Switch 2s out in the market.
Yeah, Switch 2 units I don't think are going to sell enough to then also have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart World. And then Donkey Kong.
People are calling Pokemon ZA, and then it would have the Switch base. So yeah, that would work.
Oh yeah, then
Switch
Pokemon for sure.
Switch
then
one. Yeah.
Pokemon makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it having this honor forever. By the time we get to the end of the year, but it's super awesome that it has it this far.
I mean, the fact that like it's Capcom's fastest selling game of all time,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's already getting all the success it needs to as Monster Hunter, but it is very cool and fascinating to see Monster Hunter's rise to these heights. Because I think to your point of it being more approachable compared to something like Elden Ring, Night Rain, like I disagree just for the sense of there's way more Elden Ring like action games out there, right? Like I think the Souls like action game is more approachable than ever nowadays because like it's become a way more popular genre. People have been able to wrap their brains around how those work. And anecdotally, just for me talking about Monster Hunter, I've played like in my life maybe 20 hours of a Monster Hunter style game between Monster Hunter Wild Hearts and previous Monster Hunters that I've tried. That shit does not click with my brain, man. That is such I don't understand like how this works, what I'm supposed to eat at the right time, like what pace I'm supposed to take these things at. Like that's fair. That's an unapproachable game for me, but still speaks to its audience. Which is huge.
And the audience keeps getting bigger.
And the audience keeps growing.
That's fair. I'll be interested to see Night Rain sales versus Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
If
I'm betting, I think I'll still put Monster Hunter Wilds above Night Rain.
Yeah.
For sales. I think Borderlands 4.
I could do it.
It's tough because that comes out in September, so you have a smaller margin of time to get there. But I'm not sleeping on Borderlands. I think people are going to show up to Borderlands.
Yeah. But I'll be interested to see how. I mean, there's a big Borderlands fan base, I guess. Period. Just in the statement, but how that's going to compare to Borderlands 3, and how Borderlands 3 would have compared to Monster Hunter Wilds. If we're talking about like not life to date.
You know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up sales for Borderlands 3, and then I'm going to look up sales for Monster Hunter World.
I like that a lot. While you do that, Kevin, I'm going to ask you to go to assets, pull this up. As everybody knows, I am a Monster Hunter fanatic, both in Wilds and World. And now. The now is the mobile version. Today with their spring update, I was into now getting my Easter Bunny stuff on, and they have this. It turns out now if you use a referral code, you get little tokens to unlock stickers and stuff. I've gotten many of you have used my referral code in the past. I'm now asking you to do it so I can go get all of these stickers that I would like. I'm not gonna get the cat ears probably. So if you want to go to Monster Hunter now, whatever. I guess this is my Blue Sky, and then use the referral code T22CJ5V6. I would like that. That would help me out because I want to get all the stickers.
So this is a tough one. I forget what year Monster Hunter World came out. Was that 2018?
Or 17.
Or 17. Here's the thing, and keep me honest, chat, and you're wrong. By 2023, Borderlands 3 sold over 18 million copies.
2018.
2018. So from 2018 to 2023, that's a 5-year period. Borderlands 3 sold over 18 million copies. Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter World came out in 2018. 2019 would have been Borderlands 3, so that's a 4-year period. Monster Hunter World, which released in 2018, by December 2024 had sold 14.9 million lifetime. So Borderlands 3 does have the upper hand there.
Okay.
But it's a new era,
It's a new era.
new generation.
And again, what is the hype level for Borderlands 4? I feel like it is not what it was for Borderlands 3. Granted, we're still a ways out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think Summer Game Fest will be telling.
Okay.
I also wonder if we're speaking to the core gamer audience of like the Kind of Funny audience.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
Borderlands is so mainstream. So it would surprise me for us to get there and for it to still not sell gangbusters for how many normies love Borderlands.
Okay.
I don't use normie as a pejorative.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Nobody's offended. The normies
making
aren't
sure.
watching this show.
That's true.
Poe doesn't watch this show. He doesn't know what they're talking
They
about.
ain't fucking watching this shit.
Jens FC super chats and says 100% agree with Bless. Monster Hunter is hard to understand. Nobody was arguing otherwise.